You know it's not a trip to New York City without a Vin Baker joining us, four-time All-Star, Bouncing Back Foundation in New York City. Brother, how are you?
All is well. Happy to be back in the city. Happy to be back on the East Coast. I'm a Connecticut guy, so I feel like I'm home. I'm also a former Knicks, so I feel like I'm home.
Not just that, but Connecticut, being a former Knick, did you root for the Knicks?
Honestly, I was a 76ers fan. I'm a 70s baby, so Dr. J was the guy at the time. But I'm also obviously a big New York fan.
Of course, and I want to touch on the Bouncing Back Foundation first. I read that when you were playing for the Boston Celtics, if I'm not mistaken, Patino smelled alcohol on your breath, and then that began the process of people realizing you need help. Do you ever wonder what if that didn't happen?
It's been a long time, but I'm glad everything happened. I'm glad that process started in Boston, so that I can get back on the path of a sober life. At the time, it didn't feel good, but the people in Boston were great. The ownership, just the people, they helped me to turn my life around.
I feel like in today's society, mental health, drug addiction, alcohol addiction have become buzzwords. But I feel like back when you played, it was kind of like you were shamed for it. Do you ever look at now in today's NBA and say, what would that look like had that been your issue when you played in this era?
Yeah, I think, the stigma, with social media and everything that goes on now, I don't think I would have made it that long in the NBA just because of the cameras and everything that is documented like by the moment and the minute. So I think the biggest thing even from back then and now is to remove the stigma of addiction. And it's a disease, and whether you're a superstar athlete or you're someone who is not an athlete, it is an issue. And so that's what I hope to do with the foundation, and certainly with my recovery center, is to remove the stigma of the alcoholism and drug opioid use, because it's running rampant in our community.
Why now?
I just think God has given me an amazing platform being an assistant coach with the Milwaukee Bucks. I've been sober for 14 years. I feel like my life and my journey is made for giving back and helping people. I feel like I've gone through everything I've gone through for this moment and to help people struggling with addiction. Everybody knows somebody, and that's a lot of people. So I'm going to use my sobriety, my testimony, my platform to save as many lives as I can. And there's no better time than now.
Learn me something, as my late grandmother would say. You made mention of the fact that you're assistant coach with the Milwaukee Bucks, and you discussed a conversation that you had with Giannis where you talked about being selfless, more or less. Can you kind of recount that? Because I find it interesting.
Yeah, we were just having a great conversation driving in here, and he talked about being over himself for the bigger picture. Like, winning a championship is everything to him. And, that's how I feel about my sobriety. It's not just about me anymore. I've been given this great gift of sobriety, but now it's about being selfless. I could be selfish and take my job, platform, all the wonderful things that are happening with the foundation and the center, and just live my life. But that's not what I've gone through this journey for. And plus, I still feel the pain and the struggle. I empathize with those daily that go through it. I'm only a drink away or whatever away. I'm an alcoholic. I'm 14 years sober, but I feel that every single day. I'm no better than somebody with 30 days of sobriety.
As my late father would say, you may be better off, but you're never better than. And that testimony means a lot. I got to switch topics for a second. How hard is it to win a championship?
It's extremely hard. One of the things I 3 years ago when we were able to win it, and it was during COVID a little bit, so I didn't. Once we were done, I was exhausted, and I coach, but I didn't realize how grueling it was to get through 4 rounds of basketball, playing the top competition in the world in the NBA, and winning it. So it's a mental, physical battle. And now that I've been through it with the team and watched Giannis, Chris, Drew, Brooke, and all Bobby Portis and all these guys go through it, it's just amazing to watch. You have more respect for the Jordans, Michael Jordan, and LeBrons of the world who've been able to do it multiple times.
The Bucks added Damian Lillard this offseason, and I social media, you mentioned, people were trying to make those comparisons between Oscar Robertson and Lou Alcindor, both former Bucks. Did you ever buy into that? And if not them, who?
So I see a Shaq and Kobe dynamic from a talent standpoint. We have 2 top 75 players on our roster, and we also have Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, Brooke Lopez, Pat Connaughton. We also have a bunch of great players, but with Dame and Giannis, not even their greatness as players, I think the thing that I'm most fascinated by daily being around them is their humility. Like, you couldn't have picked 2 more perfect people to go together. Not players, perfect people. They're both humble. They both want to win a championship, and they both have extreme talent. So we're blessed and fortunate to have them in Milwaukee. Dame, as you heard all the rumors during the summertime, Miami, all the other places could have gone anywhere, but we're very fortunate to have we consider one of the greatest point guards to ever play the game.
Yo, I was looking at Giannis's YouTube a couple weeks ago, and they put that Hakeem spin move out the post. And everybody was saying, oh, get this guy a 10-day contract. Can you give me some more context to that practice with Hakeem?
So first of all, like, when you're in the gym with 4 MVPs, I think Hakeem had 2, Giannis has 2, 2 defensive or 3 defensive players amongst both of them. First of all, let me say this. They're the 2 of 3 players to win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same year. Michael, Hakeem, and Giannis. So watching them for like a whole 2 or 3 days, I felt compelled to do something. I'm like, man, they're not just gonna be moving around me like I'm chopped liver. That's what happened with the dunk. But the funny thing is, the rim almost came down, so it went from being something kind of cool, and I don't know if the video caught it or not, to something that almost turned into.
Oh, I saw it.
Yeah, it almost turned into a tragedy.
You look like Shaq dunking in New Jersey and Phoenix back in the day.
Yeah, it almost turned into a tragedy. So, but it was fun, man. I mean, being in the room, in the gym with those 2 greats was amazing for me. I'm a basketball fan. I know I played the game, but I'm a basketball fan as well. And to listen to them talk the game of basketball, listen to Hakeem explain the game to Giannis was just awesome. It's something I'll never forget.
What did Giannis pick up from Hakeem?
There was a lot. I think his mental approach to the game, it's interesting because Giannis doesn't fraternize with a lot of the players across the league. And Hakeem did not either. And so one of the things I told Hakeem, I said, Hakeem, can you tell Giannis why you didn't fraternize with other players in the league? And Hakeem, he started off by saying this. He said, well, this is my first time ever talking to Vin. And you know, one of the reasons he told Giannis he didn't is because he wanted to keep a mentality of competitiveness. And I thought that was profound, the conversation that he had, because Giannis is the same way. And Giannis is an amazing young man, cares about people. But I wanted Hakeem to tell him why that was his approach back in the 90s when he was dominant. And I think he explained that to him well.
Riddle me this. You played for a few teams. Does the Seattle Supersonics still resonate with you, and does Seattle need a basketball team?
100%, and I think the league is working on that. I think we'll see a team in Seattle in the next 2 or 3 years. It's a great sports town. Gary's there, you know, Sean is there. Great history there, and it's like I said, it's a great city, great sports town, great people there, and they'll get one in the next 3 years.
A few more questions. You played for the Milwaukee Bucks, the team that drafted you. You're now an assistant coach, but a lot of people look at Ray Allen, who was your teammate for at least 1 year, right?
1 year.
And they see the Miami, they see the Boston. But for people who are young, who were born like maybe before 1996, what was the Ray Allen experience like?
It was great. Not only was he my teammate, but he's my roommate his rookie year. So we lived together for 1 year in Milwaukee. Just a great young man. He was very focused as a rookie, very dialed in. It wasn't his team to begin with. It was my team and Glenn's team. But Ray was so talented, we knew he was going to be special. I didn't know he was going to be as great as he came to be, but just a very focused, dialed-in young man, very intentional about his approach to basketball. And from what I saw from a distance, never changed that. And he's become a great father. I think he still has his Ray of Hope Foundation, but just an intentional young man from the day he walked on the court.
You're Air Jordan from head to toe. I'll never forget when you joined Team Jordan along with Eddie Jones, and then it just multiplied. Did you ever have any input with either Michael or just Team Jordan in designing your own shoe?
A little bit of input, but I trusted, Michael and trusted the team at Brand Jordan. I was very fortunate to, be one of the first people, one of the pioneers of Team Jordan. So not a ton of input, but because I was just excited to have my own shoe, the Vindicator. Michael has been a great mentor to me, and having an opportunity to, wear his sneakers and wear his stuff, his gear, was just awesome, and still in the family today. So that's why I'm head to toe.
Yeah, some of those packages, Quentin Richardson, Darius Miles, I see them as well as Derek Anderson. They Jordan for life. I see some of their packages they post on social. Yeah. I know yours is crazy too.
It is. I'm not on social media, but mine is crazy too. I oftentimes look at my stuff and I should go on social media, but I'm too old to be posting 100 pair of sneakers on social media.
So you talked about being from Connecticut, and then there was that trade for Ewing that got blocked and more. What happened? What were you hearing on your end?
So it's interesting, that was the year 2000. I remember it because it was the Olympics, and that trade was going to happen prior to the Olympics, and then it was rescinded. So what I was told about that, because it actually went through, and then one morning I woke up and it wasn't. I think it was like a 4-team deal between Detroit, the Lakers, the Sonics, and New York, and I think it was Detroit or LA who pulled out of the deal last minute. So I was able to go back. I went back to Seattle, and I was able to play with the great Patrick Ewing for a year in Seattle.
Last question. I know you're an assistant coach with the Bucks. However, you played for the Knicks, and there was just this whole void with Patrick Ewing. And, for years, the Knicks just weren't. We weren't talking Charlie Ward, Patrick Ewing, and Anthony Mason, God rest his soul. But from looking on the other side as an assistant coach with the Bucks and watching the Knicks, being a former Knick, how pleased are you to see the relevance of the Knicks in NBA basketball, period?
It's amazing. I mean, obviously when the Lakers are good, the Knicks are good, and the Celtics are good, it's great for the NBA. It's the mecca of basketball. And again, the New York fans are amazing, and they deserve a very good team, a great team. It's just fun to watch them. It's fun to watch the New York energy and feel the New York energy. Like, we're blessed, the Bucks are blessed to be here for a 2-game stint and play in front of this holiday crowd. So we're excited. Believe it or not, some of my greatest NBA moments came here at Madison Square Garden. So it's nothing like playing in the Garden.
Nothing like playing the Garden, and nothing like reconnecting with you. First sat down with you at 12 years old. Full circle moment, brother. Thank you so much for your time.
And you're doing amazing. Keep it up, brother.
Thank you, brother. Christmas.